Yeah. Also, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and excitement that I'm here today to discuss the topic of Australia toys importers. First of all, please allow me to introduce my team members. They are Chimen, Tong, Stella, and Yuanzhuo. After that, I will introduce the contents of today's presentation. The first part is overview, then concerns, strategies, costs and benefits, KPI, and the conclusions. Let's move to the next one, is industrial backgrounds. So Australia has a mass market for toys. By 2023, Australia's toys and games retail productions will range $5.63 billions over the next 5 years, a compounds annual growth rate of over 2.85% or more. Besides, Australia relies on the importers for over 80% of its toys, including China, Vietnam, India, and other countries. As the toys importers, we are facing with the industry full of challenges and opportunities. One of the main concerns for converting toys importers is the crazy in flight prices. The next one is strategies. We use the STO farm work to address the issues of the flight courses at a strategical level. So we build a multi-channel supply chain and diversify our resources. We are trying to transfer courses share with our suppliers and the technical levels and operation course monitoring to reduce the courses. Finally is the operational level. So we have 3 different plans: reduce money labors with automation, transferring courses to consumers, and optimizing the selection of productions. At strategical levels, toys importers need to build a release supply chains, increasing to numbers of supply chain noobs, improve to the releasing of the supply chain in the face of unaccepted events. This includes building relationship with the broader range of the suppliers and selecting alternative directors and retailers. At the technical levels, I will introduce my friends, Yuheng, to talk about the supplier diversification.
Yes, so supply chain diversification refers to have a range of suppliers instead of solely rely on one supplier. This is to minimize the adverse effect of supply chain disruption. Using Apple company as an example, during COVID-19 pandemic, there is a great labor shortage in Foxconn due to COVID restriction in China, which brought damage to Apple's revenue by 1 million a week. In this case, Apple started to diversify its suppliers. For example, 25% of iPhone is estimated to be produced in India in 2025, and 65% of AirPods will be produced in Vietnam. Before starting to looking for the new suppliers, let's look at the table from ABS in 2023. We can find that China, United States, and Japan are the existing good and service supplier of Australia. We are looking forward to something beyond that. Let's look at this graph. It shows the freight cost to Australia from all areas. We can see Asia and Latin America has relatively low costs compared to North America and Europe. These two tables shows the major toy suppliers in Asia and Latin American regions, and I will use Hong Kong as an example as it is listed in the second place in the table. Except mainland China and Japan, I think Hong Kong is a potential toy supplier in the future. According to Hong Kong Trade Development Council in 2022, Hong Kong is the 4th largest toy exporter. Also, we can see from the graph that traditional toys and games is gradually taken over by electronic and video games. Australia toy importers can take this opportunity to import more video games from Hong Kong. This will also reach economic sustainability of the supplier side, as it follows the trend in Hong Kong toy manufacture, which is gradually transforming into a high-end toy exporter. Another important criteria for selecting toy supplier is to ensure it complies with Australian Competition and Consumer Commission. Suppliers are required to reach a safety regulation, maintain quality control, respect the copyright, and get certified if necessary. Next, I'm going to introduce a solution which is at the tactical level. This solution is under this assumption that great effort is needed in order to find new suppliers, or temporarily, it is unlikely to find new suppliers for Australian toy importers. Therefore, it is necessary to negotiate with current suppliers. For example, a new Incoterm agreement can be considered. According to Toy Business in 2023, there are five commonly used intercoms in toy industry listed in the slide. From those previously mentioned intercom, we recommend to use CIF. In this case, seller would cover the international transportation cost, but in return, Australian toy importers can enlarge the contract size or extend the contract duration. Now I'm going to pass to Randy to talk about more options at tactical level.
All right, thank you, Stella. So right now we'll talk about the tactical levels. So at the tactical levels, the companies can monitor operation cost increases like transparency of production and operation with the companies, reduce instance of the corporations and the embellishments, reduce costs and operation level to the mitigate flight rates increases. So in next part, I will move to Tong talk about the basic transport courses.
Thank you, Randy. Now that I will cover the main freight pricing concerns of the toy industry. Firstly, the basic transportation cost is the main part of the total transportation cost. The available transport options include sea, air, and road shipping, with sea transport being the most favorable due to the Australia's geographical location. Around 99% of the goods are imported by ship, and as toys are inexpensive and not perishable. Sea freight is the most cost-effective option. Air transport is generally costly and only used for the urgent deliveries. Once unloaded from the ports or the airports, goods are transported by the road to the warehouse for storage. Other costs associated with the shipping process include insurance, customer duties, road tolls, loading and unloading charges, and the customer clearance fees. Factors such as the quality and the volume of the goods should also be considered. It is worth noticing that economics of the scale applies to the freight industry, meaning that heavier shipments result in the lower cost. Therefore, companies should aim for the optimal delivery quantities to reduce the cost throughout the whole year. Working with the professional freight forward can help to address these challenges as they possess specialized knowledge and have extensive networks. However, considering the flexibility and agility, it is advisable to maintain relationships with the multiple freight forwards at some time, so that the comparisons can be made to obtain the optimal models of the transport to reduce the total cost. I will then give some brief advice on how to reduce the transport cost. The toy industry is the highly seasonal industry, with about 40% of the items being sold in the last quarters. Therefore, companies can order their products earlier and choose slower shipping methods to lower the cost. Multimodal transport, combining the land, water, air, and the rail transport is in the most cost-effective methods is gaining attention. Additionally, handling and the transport cost can vary among the ports based on their popularity. So the collaborating with the freight forwards can help identify the most economical combinations of the transport methods. Overall, managing the freight pricing is the toy industry that involves optimizing the transport option, considering the factors such as cost, timeliness, and the nature of the goods, while also leveraging the expertise of the freight forwards and exploring the innovative solutions such as multimodal transport. Next, Yuanzhuo will introduce some other parts to you.
Thank you. At the operation level, the enterprise can use automation to handle logistics and warehousing. First of all, we can introduce the Internet of Things for real-time monitoring and measurement of logistic process. For example, the location and status of goods can be tracked through RFID technology. Secondly, the installation of automated assembly lines can improve the operational efficiency of warehouse and logistics. Thirdly, use artificial intelligence calculation to optimize the supply chain and avoid overstocking, such as adjusting inventory and distribution strategies through calculation to predict demand.
Production operation management could pass on some or all the increased freight costs to customer using pricing strategies. In this given scenario, we are going to use cost-based pricing and market-based pricing. Cost-based pricing is a pricing strategy that takes into account of the cost involved in producing or acquiring a product or service and adds profit margin to determine the selling price. If using cost-based pricing, total amount of increased freight costs will be added to the selling price. While market-based pricing is used to determine price based on market condition, we can transfer part but not all of the cost to customer using this strategy. Randy will now talk about production optimization.
All right, thank you, Keith. So in this part, I will talk about the optimizing the production. So reduce costs by replacing large items with more choice, such as teddy bears. According to the data research, teddy bear was 2 times expensive than before during COVID-19. So in this strategy, so we try to use more sizes, high price per toys to replace to the well-known and expensive toys. Next, we'll talk costs and benefits.
As a toy importer, there are the costs and benefits associated with our operations in this industry. Investing in automation equipment and IoT technologies requires significant financial resources. In addition, this system and equipment must be maintained and fixed on a regular basis. Business must also train employees to learn how to operate this system and device. Despite these challenges, the payoff from these investments is enormous. Automated equipment and IoT technologies improve supply chain efficiency, avoiding problems such as overstocking and delivery delays. Besides, these technologies reduce error and losses in supply chain operations, and customers can enjoy high-quality products. In addition to financial benefits, investing in automation and IoT technology can better meet customers' needs, thereby increasing the competitiveness of enterprise in the market.
Cost-based pricing is an easy and simple approach. It saves time for us as we do not need to rethink our cost management strategies. Since the cost-based pricing fully recovered the total cost on a product, it allows us to operate sustainably. In the same notion, it ensures profitability by adding profit margin on top of total cost, allowing business to generate solid profits. It is a systematic approach that determines the minimum selling price required to achieve profitability. However, cost-based pricing ignores market dynamics. It may not consider market demands and customer willingness to pay. If customers perceive the product's value to be higher than the calculated cost-based price, business might miss out on potential revenue by underpricing the product. Cost-based estimation can be inaccurate as well. If business inaccurately estimate their costs or fail to consider all relevant expenses, cost-based pricing can lead to setting prices that are too high or too low. This can result in reduced sales due to uncompetitive pricing. Cost-based pricing does not explicitly consider the unique value proposition or differentiation factors of a product or service. This may result in pricing decisions that do not reflect the perceived value by customers, potentially hindering the market competitiveness. On the other hand, market-based pricing is customer-centric. It focuses on customer demand and their willingness to pay. Therefore, business can align their price with what customers perceive as fair and reasonable, enhancing customer satisfaction and potentially increasing sales. Market-based pricing allows business to adapt to the competitive landscape. Since the increase in freight price affects the industry as a whole, we can analyze pricing strategy of competitors and positioning their price accordingly. It also provides flexibility in adjusting price in response to change in market dynamics. It allows business to respond to this shift in demand, competitor pricing, or other external factors, ensuring they remain competitive and adaptable in the marketplace. However, market-based pricing is complex. It requires business to constantly monitor and analyze the market conditions. This process can be time-consuming and involve gathering and interpreting data to make informed price decisions. It does not guarantee profitability if the pricing decisions are not effectively aligned with costs and expenses. We might end up absorbing all the costs. In competitive markets, market-based pricing can lead to price war if business engage in aggressive price undercutting to gain market share. This can negatively impact profitability and sustainability in the long run. Let me pass to Joe for key performance indicator.
Thank you. There are 6 KPI. Firstly, the company can save more funds when labor costs lower, thereby improving the KPI. Secondly, productivity and quality metrics represent the product's capacity of enterprise using automation. The improvement of KPI can only be achieved by improving efficiency and reducing loss and error. Thirdly, ROI allows companies to judge whether investing in automation is worthwhile. The level of KPI can help enterprise choose whether to continue to invest automation in the future. Also, in market share, business need to monitor change in your market share. A drop in market share could indicate that customers are switching to lower price product. In profitability, a business can increase price and thus increase revenue.
Higher freight price is a major cost that directly affected the cost of our company, especially as a toy importer who is highly dependent on transportations. As a production and operation management team, we have responded to the concern directly by reducing the costs related to freight, which are supplier diversifications, transport cost sharing, multi-channel supply chain, and multimodal transport. Thinking out of the box, we can use indirect approach by optimizing product, monitoring operating costs, automation technology, and cost passing to offset the increase in freight price in total cost. Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate that you all took the time to be here and listen to our presentations. Thank you.